guys, welcome back. I'm KP,
This is Geno J.
the real estate
Gurus.
and today we have two guests with us.
Earl Martin.
John Stafford, aka the Grind Guy.
Today, guys, we want to get into some questions about wholesaling and getting started in wholesaling. We have special guest here, John Stafford. John, if you want to just introduce yourself to the channel, just tell people, who you are, how long you've been doing wholesaling, and just kind of your background.
Okay. My name is John Stafford again. I've been in wholesaling now 20 years. I started at the age of 19. I started doing pre-foreclosures where I used to knock on doors. That's how I got introduced into the business. And after 3 months of just hard work, grind, and grit, made my first 10,000 and never looked back.
And Earl here is new to wholesaling and kind of investing. And so we have him on the show just to kind of ask some questions, because us as experienced wholesalers and investors, we don't always know what people don't know. So we wanted to get a real person on the show to be able to ask some real questions so that we can share our experiences and our knowledge with you, so that knowledge might help our guests out there. Because a lot of the questions that you have, other people may have. But again, we don't know what some of those questions might be. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and what you're looking to do and why you're looking to get into real estate.
Sure. All right, guys, I'm Earl Martin again. I'm a teacher. I currently teach here, special education in Clayton County. And I moved here about 3 years ago. The goal was to get into real estate, to do real estate license and kind of, without any knowledge or really having a real excitement for putting people in homes. Mm-hmm. Especially coming from a person that made mistakes with his credit and couldn't get a home. Banks always say no. So I wanted to be that difference in real estate. And then my brother here, who we've been knowing each other since 1996, and he was doing wholesaling. And he actually learned a lot of the tricks and trades from you.
Yeah.
It dawned on me. My wife asked me a question. She said, "What do you do?" And when I asked her, I said, "Well," she said, "I see that you know how to teach. That's great, but what do you do?" I could not answer that question. So I went through a lot of reflection, and it led me right back to real estate and learning, starting from the ground up and trying to build my way up, to build a business, to build a legacy, to leave something behind for my kids, and still have the freedom. I have a special needs daughter that I want to be able to take care of. My wife's schedule is grueling on just for my special needs daughter. So me being home teaching as the pandemic hit, it made me understand her schedule, how grueling it was. And I said, I have to be here to help you, but I can't be here to help you if I can't leave nothing behind. Like, you're gonna be worried about the bills and what's gonna be paid. So I thought about wholesaling and reached out, and I'm here. I'm honored to actually be sitting here with you guys, to be learning from what my brother called you guys the gurus of what you guys do. So it's just an honor to be here.
So my question to you is, why did you think about wholesaling? I mean, are you looking to just be a wholesaler, or are you looking to start investing, buying and flipping? So what's your in your mind, what's your idea? Like, what do you want to accomplish with real estate?
What I want to accomplish with real estate is basically like you and Kelly currently have, just like an all-around service for everybody. I wanted to start off with the license because that was the only way that I knew. Mm-hmm. Actually, to be honest, when I failed at getting the license, that was a deterrent, and it kind of knocked me off. And then I did all the researching, because I'm a research guy. And it was like, taking the real estate is like taking your first year in law school, which I definitely understood because I was looking at all the verbiage and things of that nature. And then when I was kind of discouraged, my brother said, "You don't need your license to do it." So it took a little while for it to hit for me. And then he started talking about being a broker, like all the stuff that I had no idea of what he was talking about. So I'm like, wait a minute, so you can make a whole business from this? And then that will bring you up. Mm-hmm. Oh man, you gotta see how Gene is doing this. He got this whole thing on lock. Like, it's just a circle. And it's something that I can teach. Me going to college, I realized that was great. I got my degree, but that was for me. Mm-hmm. I got that for me. It didn't do nothing for me. It didn't do the best for me in the real world. I'm still gonna go through my ups and downs, but financially, I was paying more of my college loans back than I was actually being able to live. Now looking at my 16-year-old daughter who's in the 11th grade, what am I gonna tell her to do? So now I'm at the point in life where I'm not teaching her the traditional way. You don't have to go to school, you have to do something. I want to teach you something that's going to make you live a long life, and you're going to enjoy life and leave something for your kids behind. And it brings me to real estate. It brings me right into real estate. So I just wanted to kind of start it in wholesale, learn the business, get the flow of the business, how to get in, and to be clear for everybody that's going to be listening. Listen, I knew that this was a cheaper way for me to get into the business. I work my 9 to 5, but you know my cost of living is more than what I make.
Yeah.
So so I don't have a bunch of money sitting there to just go and invest in. So I said, how can I get into the business from a 9 to 5 right now while I'm working a 9 to 5 to kind of make seed money to fuel my future business?
That makes sense. So with that being said, John, he's working a 9 to 5. Not a lot of money to maybe get started, and he's new to this. What would you recommend that he do to maybe get his wholesaling career off the ground?
So the first thing you want to identify, which you already spoke about, which is your why. So your why is your legacy, your family, right? So like we were talking about outside, that's going to drive you when everything is going wrong. Your why. Because once you identify your why you're getting into the business, while you're becoming an entrepreneur, and for everybody else out there, when you identify your why, that's what's gonna drive you. Because trust me, this business, like any other business, is an emotional roller coaster. I'm saying from experienced people as well. So it's gonna be times that you up, you down. But you know what I tell my team is stand in the yellow. Stand in the yellow is kind of like mellow yellow. You just mellow. You know, once you get a contract, don't get all in the green and be excited like, oh, this deal is going through, because you don't know what the title look like, right? So you contract a deal, you get all excited. Oh, I got the title. Oh. You know, we don't got no title yet, but I'm excited because I got a contract. That doesn't mean anything. So that's why I say stay in the yellow, because if you're in the yellow going through that process, because you got to go through the process, you got to trust that process. Then you get to the end goal, and you can be happy when you get that wire in your account. But starting off, you want to do something. You identify what your why is. Driving for dollars. It's going to be the easiest way. Driving for dollars and bandit signs. So these are little things that cost little to nothing. You know, you filling up your gas tank, you getting some bandit signs that you can write on. You know, we buy houses, because it's gonna be a we at the end of buying houses, right? Because really, when we wholesaling, you're buying and selling paper. People think it's the actual house, but you're buying and selling paper. You're buying and selling the contract. You're gonna buy a contract from Gene or me and sell that contract to Kelly for a profit.
Have you heard the term driving for dollars?
And that's the first time I heard it.
Okay. Can you explain what driving for dollars is?
So driving for dollars, like this neighborhood we in right now, you're driving for dollars, and you're driving areas where the home appears to be vacant. You're looking for anything you're looking for eyesores in the community, right? So you may have boarded, you know, how the windows knocked out, house boarded up, gutters falling off the house, bushes, trees surrounded by the house that's just not being upkept, something that's not being upkept. That's an address that you just write down. So let's say we on Main Street, 123 Main Street. This looks like it has some issues. Let me try to find out how I can contact this owner, and you go from there. So now that you've driven for dollars, the next step will be to go to the tax assessor's website. I'm giving out free game for y'all. So if y'all watching this, I'm telling you, like,
good information.
It's just a lot of key information, but you gotta. So I do these things called word for the month. I know I'm getting off the subject for a minute, but I'm doing it for a reason. So position is the word for this month, right? This young man right here is putting himself in positions because he's around some other entrepreneurs of where he wants to go. So he's in position right now to do that. That's how he got here, and that's how you guys are getting this information. I wasn't even supposed to be here today, but somehow we got this going, and you know what I'm saying? So it's organic, it's working. Yeah, we're gonna give a shout out to LaCoya because he's waving over here. Yeah. But I mean, this is great, and it's good information because this guy's able to sit around with some people that are actually in the business and get this information. Like when I got started, you to sit down and have lunch with Gene was like $5,000. Like this is what it was. Nobody was sharing information. It just wasn't organic like this. Like for us to sit down and do this right now, y'all getting a lot of information. But anyway, take it, write it down, use it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you go to the tax assessor's website of whatever county that you're in. So let's say we're in DeKalb County. You go to DeKalb County tax assessor's website and you put in the address. What's that going to do is locate the homeowner and their name, their first and last name, right? So let's say it's Miss Doris Johnson, right? Is the homeowner. You find that out. Now what you got to do? You got to skip trace this homeowner. So there's several skip trace links and areas to skip trace. You can contact real estate agents as well, get you an agent to work with, and you find out who the owner is. Now, the next step is a cold call. So when you cold calling, we were just talking about this as well, is identifying what you're calling for. Identifying the why, right? The purpose of the call. Because what we are, again, when people talk about wholesaling, it's two sides. People always think like, oh, wholesalers, they're going after, not everybody runs that business that way. You get one name in this business. I'm gonna say this again, you get one name in this business. You mess that name up, I mean, that's kind of it. That's your career, you know what I'm saying? So identifying that why and making sure that you create the win-win situation for everybody. That's what a good wholesaler is. Okay, so when you find out with Miss Johnson, why she's selling her home, she may have got laid off, may have inherited the property from a family member, right? So many things that could have happened that was her motivation to sell is. So that's what you have to find when you get on the phone, is building that rapport with the homeowner. Don't just call, hey, I want to buy your house for $50,000. That's not what's going to work. You got to identify what their problem is, because understand now the market, everybody's doing cold call. Everybody's doing the same thing. So you got to stand out different from everybody else. So if Gene made a phone call, Kelly made a phone call, you got to sound different from Gene and Kelly because they've already called. Now you're the third person calling. See what I'm saying? So, but if it's all in your rapport building. That's what this is about. Finding the why for the seller, building the rapport with them, finding out, how long, it's so many things. The house could have been in the family for generations, right? You find that out. Now, when you sell it to Gene or whoever you sell to, me, whoever, Kelly, and they fix it up, they can come back and see like, wow, this is where it came. They did good with this. I'm proud to say that my family, this was an area where the house was built. We grew up in this house. You run into so many of those things where people, they want to see the end result. So your job is really to stay connected to the seller and the buyer. Because when you bring people back around and somebody that's buying the property from you, they win. They want to come buy more houses.
And to kind of piggyback off of what he said a little bit, when you driving for dollars, I want to kind of expand a little bit deeper. The way you can find neighborhoods is, I would recommend starting at one zip code at a time. Yes. So look at a zip code. You can go to redfinnerrealtor.com, and when you go on there, search for stuff that's sold in the last 3 to 6 months. But look for stuff that's been renovated. Right. Like when you see a new kitchen, like this house, a new bathroom, and it's all updated stuff. Like look for stuff that look like it's been renovated. You can see a house that's in the 70s, but everything's new. Look for stuff that's been renovated. And when you start to see multiple properties that's been renovated, then that's going to be a key indicator that they're doing, renovations and flips in the neighborhood, because you see it. So drive the property that's been renovated, like this one. You can drive this neighborhood here and then see stuff that's vacant or overgrown and start using, start calling on those places. So make it purposeful when you go out in the field. Don't just go out and just start driving. So start with a zip code, look for renovated properties, and try to find vacant properties around the property that's been renovated. Then use the strategies where you're going to the tax assessors, you're doing skip tracing. Right. So that'll kind of narrow down what you're doing.
And that's good that he said that, because again, what he's doing for you is giving you a floor plan, a layout of really how to do it. That is like, I can give you all the information, but what he just said was key. And that's good that we all here, because we can kind of piggyback and give you different information to take with you. Because I just gave like an outside of it, he just went in depth. And I say start in your backyard. I always say that.
Yep.
Somewhere that you're familiar with, an area that you like, maybe somewhere where you live at, even then, because, we drive past houses every day.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking of how many, just the normal drive through, going to the doctor's appointments and all in the outskirts, is kind of seeing basically vacant homes that you can tell has been renovated, but never really knew that key. Key thing that you can start writing down. And so it's like, I always carry a notebook with me, so it's
gotta have that.
Yeah.
They gotta have that.
You gotta be careful on which neighborhoods that you driving for dollars, or either researching, because every neighborhood that's full of abandoned houses aren't turning over as fast as in most other places, or some other places. That's the reason Gene say find a renovated house first, and then go out from that. Because you can go in certain zip codes, you can go in pretty much almost every zip code that in or around Atlanta and find vacant homes.
Yeah.
But some areas aren't turning over as fast.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask that question with Atlanta. Since I moved here in 3 years, I've noticed that there's a lot of vacant homes, especially when you get more closer to the city.
Yep.
And now being that, just like any city, when people in the city, they move out of the city. So I'm starting to see them. This is more widespread, but what's the key? How to know that that's a area to get in? I think you hear
Recent sales.
Recent
sales and renovations. Those gonna be your first key giveaways that this area is starting to turn over, and some are faster than others again.
Now, where I know you said you started the licensing process as an agent. Where are you at now? Did you actually complete the course and fail the test?
I completed the course. I failed the test. I paid the extra $50 to go back and study again, and I just didn't. I don't know what didn't connect. I wasn't able to go back and take that second try. So right now in that process, I just got to retake the course again. I'm at that point with just retaking the course, but then I think now it's more of a different mindset when I'm going into it, because before I just came in and got the course and just went in. This is what I need. It's the teaching profession in me. As a teacher, what you need to move up is a degree. You don't need the knowledge. You don't need to know. You just get the degree, and automatically you bump up. But then you kind of stay there. Once you bump up, that's where you at until you get that next degree. I knew that the license, the way I seen it in real estate, was once I get in, I can keep growing without going into school another 2 years or something. So I think I just approached it a little bit differently, and it could have been the wrong strategy for me to actually obtain the information, because I obtained more outside of studying than I did inside of studying.
So what I would say about the licensing is definitely go back and retake the course. And here's why. One, you don't need a license to be successful in this, but I think by taking that course, it at least gives you an opportunity to start something and finish something and accomplish something. So just by accomplishing that, give you the more confidence to maybe start your wholesaling and go into real estate. Two, the second thing is it's going to educate you on some of the laws and stuff that you probably not familiar with. The third thing is, like, you're going to have access to the MLS. So you're going to position yourself where you're going to have more tools available at your disposal to help you learn how to run comps. And so when you go with a good broker, like Keller Williams or Caldwell Bank, there are a lot of good brokers out there. They're going to have classes designed to help you become an agent. Now, those classes not going to be designed about wholesaling or investing, but when you learn how to become an agent and you learn basic stuff like how to run comps, how to evaluate properties, like a lot of stuff is going to come together for you. So just having that basic knowledge on how to evaluate a property, because I can tell you, hey, I have a property for $100,000. You don't know what the numbers are. Like it's really pointless to be in front of a seller if you don't know what potential value is on their property. So by getting your license, it's going to position you to learn values, and it's also going to help you build your network. Because you're going to have other agents who may know an area better than you, where you may have a wholesale deal and you say, hey, I know you know this area, the seller wants X amount of dollars, what do you think about this deal? So those are the things that's going to help you by getting your license, your network and learning basic fundamentals of real estate.
So with that being said, I'm an agent as well. Don't get discouraged, because I took my test multiple times, bro. Like for real, I don't even want to call it out, but it's on record. So So yeah, man, get back in there, like you say, get back in the gym.
Got it.
And go ahead and go for the win, bro. Like, you got to, because to this day, with the information that we're able to attain by being agents, like with the comps and assessing the property, he'll send me a property and say, tell me what you think. Run the numbers on this house, see if it works. Let's take it. If you're a wholesaler, you might not know all of this, because you might just go off of what's currently for sale, especially if it's in a new area that's not turning over fast. Because some have longer days on the market. We can go in there and see, okay, this has been on the market 23 days. All right, not so bad. We can go over a couple streets. Oh, the average days on the market 6 days. So now we're in a predicament that only we would know as agents. That you're not really gonna grasp that, because you're not really gonna be able to understand comps until you're an agent, because streets and neighborhoods vary. So do schools, and schools drive ARVs. So that's just a good reason to have, if you're not an agent, have someone that you're close to, be an agent. That way they can verify what you already thinking.
Right. Yeah. My wife's an agent, by the way. So, yeah. So that's what worked for me. My wife's an agent. Yeah.
So with that being said, man, I think you should have at least a clear path on how to get started. And as you get started, there are always going to be more questions that come up. Right. But I think it gives you at least a good baseline on what you need to do and kind of what you know, some direction on how you need to go about getting started. Because the biggest thing is just getting started. You know, and then everything else will kind of start to fall into place, you know, because you'll surround yourself with other realtors, other investors. You'll have a lot of questions, and, you know, things will kind of fall in place. But getting your license and doing some of the driving for dollar stuff, I think right now is a good baseline. Because you're not going to learn everything in one day. He's been doing this for 20 years, and I've been doing this for 14 years. And this stuff that we learn still today. Oh, man. And then, you know, real estate changes. Like, what you're doing today might be outdated in 6 or 7 months. I mean, think about real estate 10 years ago. Right. You know, Facebook and all that stuff really wasn't relevant. You know, so you always have to be evolving. You know, so but starting and moving forward is the key, man.
I definitely appreciate it. You know, I came into it with the goal of failing first, because failure is actually part of success, and some people don't know. So. I came into it with the goal of failing, and I actually just told Okoye, I said, listen, after we learn this process, I want to do it, let's go. I know I may fail, but I need that process. I need to go through that failure, that process. And going back, just reiterating, I thank you guys for just saying, go back to school, go ahead and get that license, go back and do what you started to do, because that's something that you need to have in your nose. So appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always good to have more. Like they were saying, that stuck out real well, because like he said, you want to finish what you started. You see what I'm saying? And that's going to give you the confidence that you need to do the other things. So because you already started, that was good that he said that, because now you got the confidence after you get your license. You're like, oh man, I could really do this. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Some people, like he said, he had a few times where he fell, but he kept going. You see what I'm saying? So after he got his license, he hit the ground running. He like, oh man, okay, I got it. Like a man. Hey, see what I'm saying? So that's right there. He felt like I could do anything.
Yep. And all of our backgrounds and stories are different, man. I come from a sales background, so everybody's journey is going to be different. Only thing I can do is share with you my journey, and John can share with you his journey, Kelly can share with you his journey, and you can take bits and pieces from that, but your opportunities and lessons may be different from ours. So there's really, I mean, there is a blueprint, but there is not a blueprint. Right. Like the blueprint is having your why, like he said. You know, one of the things I would say is, you know, having purpose and just being driven. Because ain't nothing in this business gonna be easy, man. You're gonna have to work for it. And like you said, you're gonna fail. And so your failures, they don't define you, you know, but they should help you become better and help you grow as a person. The first new build I did, I lost $75,000. You know, I chopped it up and kept moving along. I learned from that. So, you know, hopefully we've been able to share some good information with you to start. Absolutely. And hopefully you guys out there learn some good information today. You know, it's been a great segment. I think this is a good way to kind of give back by asking real questions and giving people real answers. So, you know.
And I thank you guys again, because it ain't a lot of people sharing game.
No, it's not.
All right, and I got one last question. I need a one-word answer from you. Is wholesaling easy?
No.
All right. This is Earl, this is John, I'm KP,
This is Geno J.
the real estate
Gurus.
and we thank you for watching. Make sure you click the link below, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.
Thank you guys.